Good morning, Barbados, good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, Barbados, good morning to you. Good morning, Barbados, good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Hey, good morning to you indeed. Ta-da! He is back indeed. As Tisha would have said when she started the show, do not adjust your set to say. Good morning, everybody. How do you do? A terrific Tuesday morning to you wherever you are. Thank you, as always, for waking up to keep us company. We are excited to keep you company as well. And most of all, you've been doing the one thing we ask of you, which is to share the show. And I see you do so, and I thank you for your generosity in doing so and telling others about us so they can come by and experience not just the excitement that we share with you, but the information as well. So to those of you watching us on our streams on Facebook, YouTube, and our website, cbc.bb, thanks. Thanks very much indeed. It is a lovely today. I had a lovely weekend. How was yours? I know it's Tuesday morning and I get the chance now to say this, but how was yours? I hope you had a lovely weekend yourselves. Remember, if you know of something or someone whose story we have to tell us about it. You tell us by email, though. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb, morninbarbados@cbc.bb, and to all of you, we say thank you. Thank you indeed. And so, good morning, wherever you are, whether it be the north, south, east, west, center, anywhere across the island, or somewhere else around the world. It is wonderful having you company. Now, coming up today, we're having our conversations on CARICOM, and we want to take a look again at ourselves and just pause for just a moment to recognize who we are, where we are at this time, and what it takes for us to be able to continue to develop as we go together. And so that's going to be a part of our focus this morning in our conversations on CARICOM. Also today we're taking a look at predial larceny. You know, that's the topic that's been engaging a lot of people over years and decades. It still is a bugbear for a lot of people. And so this morning we talk a little bit more about that from the Caribbean perspective, about how you feel about predial larceny and what can we do to stem that problem. There's a public consultation, there's a public engagement coming up, and we will share that detail with you in just a little while. Also today, we'll meet a woman who has as her mission the King's Mail Code. What is she talking about? The King's Mail Code. What pops to your mind when you hear that as a topic? She'll join us this morning. She's a Barbadian afar, and so we want to hear from her. What is that mail code? How is she going to implement it? Can we really do it? All of those questions we have to ask her when she joins us in just a little while here on Mornin Barbados. So, but to all of you, thank you so much for joining us. Send your comments to us. Of course, I love to see them and to read them. Talk among yourselves, talk to us as well. So to all of you who are normally here, good morning to you. I haven't yet seen your comments. I wonder why. What are y'all up to? Serious as a judge, what are y'all up to? Talk to me. What are y'all up to? So nonetheless, it's all right. So remember, follow us on our streams on YouTube, Facebook, and our website, cbc.bb. Don't be a stranger, because I promise you I won't be. But good to have you company. Good to see you all as well. I missed you, but I'm back. And it's good to be back. Now, let's get our conversations started on CARICOM. And you do recall that last weekend we would have had our National Day of Significance rooted in the 1937 rights. But the story that was told to us from last week still resonates in my head, that it started in Belize and came right down the island chain, Barbados. Oh boy. What a story to be told. So now we begin to locate ourselves and locate ourselves within the context of who we are and why we are where we are. We're joined this morning in our conversations on CARICOM by Barbados Ambassador to CARICOM, His Excellency David Comishong. Ambassador, good morning.
Morning, Pearson.
I wasn't here. I missed it. But how did it go?
Well, it was fantastic. Just to use one word, we had that beautiful conversation last week where we had spokespersons from Belize, St. Vincent, Trinidad and Tobago, and Jamaica. On Saturday, when we did the actual event at Golden Square, Freedom Park, we were joined by Guyana. But and we did it under the theme: one cause, one struggle, one Caribbean. And that is what I want to focus on in our conversation this morning. The fact that our Barbadian present and future is more and more going to be located within this wider pan-Caribbean and even pan-African context. And so I really want us to start by just looking back at that event at Golden Square on Saturday, where I was introducing Prime Minister Motley, and we get a little bit of her speech, but we were all hitting on the same theme of that collective struggle and the fact that it is now so important that we come together in solidarity to face all of the challenges that are bearing down on us, that we are much stronger together.
All right, let's take a look at that and we'll come right back after.
Why we make the effort to come together periodically, to have these collective commemorations of important historical milestones. It is all about bringing us together to develop a sense of national consciousness, to root our national culture, to develop out of our collective reflection on these heroic episodes in our history, to develop a sense of purpose, a national sense of purpose. And as we move forward with projects like the Full Freedom of Movement project, it is going to become more and more important that we don't simply have national reflections, but we put those national reflections within a wider Caribbean and sometimes Pan-African context. And so this is the purpose of this particular commemoration today, where we reached out to Belize and St. Vincent and Jamaica and Guyana. And it now gives me great pleasure to invite the person best able to put all of that together and the meaning of all of that, none other than our own Prime Minister, the Honorable Mia Amor Motley. Please make her feel welcome as she comes to the podium. And we reflect on the words of Clement Payne, who said on the 20th of July, 1937, I'm going to make this spot the Mecca of organization in this island. Prime Minister, I know you will do justice to the legacy of Clement Payne.
Thank you very much, David, Ambassador. Good evening to each and every one of you. Good evening to each and every one of you. We're beginning to sing a little better now. The oppressive forces that would stop you from speaking are no longer in the ear of this nation. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Right. I start here because since when we met last year, a number of things have happened. And as I address them, I want you to reflect on who we are and where we are and why we are here. But allow me first this evening to say thank you to all who have spoken. I thank the Queen Mother for her libations. I thank all who spoke on this platform, bringing to the consciousness and awareness of our people in this country that when we acted on July 26, 1937, that it was not a singular act, but in truth and in fact, part and parcel of a series of rebellions in response to the failure of the then authorities to improve the conditions under which our people lived almost 100 years after the right to freedom had been conferred upon them. And we know that in our own country, that right to freedom and emancipation was constrained by the Located Laborers Act, which effectively tied you to the plantation if you wanted to retain your house as a tenant. You had to sell your labor to the particular plantation, and you were prevented from going around and trying to see if you could secure a higher wage from a different plantation. So I give context because many of our people need to appreciate that this is not some faraway concept, that we come together first to give thanks that they had the courage to do what they did. Because when we look around and contextualize it in today's world, we ask ourselves, who has the courage to stand up and to defend where wrong needs to be repaired?
Who has the courage to stand up indeed? So lest we forget. And so there is Prime Minister setting it again, as you have done over the weeks, into context about where we are today, who we are today, on whose shoulders we stand. And then you ask yourselves, now what do we do? Having recognized and reflected, what do we do?
Well, you know, the Prime Minister went on to outline all of the challenges that we face and the fact that we have to approach these challenges collectively. In fact, she stressed the fact that none of our Caribbean countries actually even have the population base, you know, to fuel our development going forward. And she made the point about the full freedom of movement. That is why it's so important that we are able to remove these barriers, we're able to come together, and we're able to allow our people to move and so that we can make full use of our collective resources. So that's the point that I really want to stress this morning, that this is more and more, this is going to be our perspective, because we recognize that we are living in a very, very difficult world. And it is going to be increasingly difficult for single Caribbean countries to make their way alone. And we are coming, that conviction is beginning to really sink in. And that's why we're going to start that freedom of movement on the 1st of October. But that's why, and I don't even want to limit it to the Caribbean, because we are also expressing that reaching out to the wider African world, that Pan-African vision. And even this morning, Pearson, when I leave here, when I go to work this morning, one of my first duties this morning is going to be to participate in a planning meeting with the African Union and CARICOM to plan the heads of government, the Africa CARICOM Heads of Government Summit that is going to be held in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia on the 7th of September. So, you know, that's what I'm going to be doing this morning. And even while I am doing that, in Grenada, our neighbor, a very important Pan-African conference will be taking place. You know, the African Export-Import Banks, African Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum, what we call ACTIV. You know, and so just to make the point, wherever you look, you're going to find Barbados reaching out in Caribbean solidarity, but also with these very important Pan-African initiatives. So Prime Minister Motley is a champion of this vision, but it's not only Prime Minister Motley. Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell, for example, of Grenada, that's hosting the conference. I think that we may have a clip of a statement from him explaining the importance of what is happening in Grenada as we speak.
Yes.
And our Prime Minister was there yesterday to participate in that very important Afri-Exim Bank meeting.
Well, let's take a look at that comment from Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell.
Great to see you today, this evening. Looking all good. I hope you had a good trip.
Welcome, especially to those of you who have traveled far and wide to be with us here in Grenada for the next few days.
Today, we begin marking the commencement of the fourth edition of the Afro-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum.
With the theme Resilience and Transformation, Enhancing Africa-Caribbean Economic Cooperation in an Era of Global Uncertainty. That's the rationale behind Active 2025. We'll take a break here. We're coming back to continue our conversations on CARICOM. And so while we try to sort that break out, Ambassador, perhaps we can take a look at there's another element to what we were talking about. I know when the Prime Minister spoke earlier, Barbados Prime Minister, I said, lest we forget. And there's actually, because putting it all into context is so important. And sometimes in that context, we can forget. And we want not to forget. We want to be able to root our knowledge and not forget, but to build upon. So
Yeah.
I know there's a publication, Lest We Forget.
Yes, Pearson, you are very skillful. I love the way how you segued into Lest We Forget. And for the benefit of viewers, sticking with the same theme of our Pan-African linkages, the book I'm holding up that goes by the title of Lest We Forget is a product of the former president of Nigeria, President Olusegun Obasanjo. And later today, he is going to be coming to Barbados with a Nigerian delegation. Former Prime Minister of Jamaica, P.J. Patterson, he's going to be coming as well with a Jamaican delegation. And we're all going to be meeting tomorrow at the Lloyd Erskine Sandyford Center to launch this book. And this book that was edited by President Obasanjo is about, lest we forget, slavery, slave trade, colonization, emancipation, and reparation. And it contains a number of essays. I have one of the chapters in this book. The famous West Indian fast bowler Michael Holding, he has written a chapter, not on cricket, he's written a chapter on I'll give you the name of his chapter, The Roots of Racism and the Abomination of Slavery. So once again, this is a Pan-Caribbean, Pan-African project where we are coming together to reflect on our common history of enslavement, of the transatlantic slave trade, the things that, the evil history that we share in common, but also looking forward to the campaign, the collective campaign for reparations, the collective campaign that we're going to work together, Caribbean, Africa, to undo that historical damage that was done to us and to forge new linkages, new relationships. So this again, what will be happening in Barbados with the launching of this book, this again is symbolic of what I call this new phase of our development, where yes, we recognize our national achievements. We are very proud of our national achievements, but at the same time, we have this growing consciousness that those national achievements are not singular, that they have tentacles that reach out to Caribbean brothers and sisters, Pan-African brothers and sisters. Because, you know, if you look back at our history, almost everything that we have achieved, you can find a collective context for it. Slavery, abolition, it wasn't just our Buster rebellion. Mm-hmm. It was the rebellions in Jamaica and Haiti and Guyana and all across the Caribbean that sent that message to the British government. Look, these rebellions are coming too fast and furious. We can't continue with this system. Mm-hmm. I mean, achievement of independence, achievement of universal adult suffrage, even the establishment of our Caville campus. When you look at it, you recognize that there's always a Pan-Caribbean or Pan-African context to what we are doing. So this is the recognition that we have now, that we are stronger together, and we have to build these relationships and go forward into this difficult world as a unified collective people.
With a greater understanding of self, greater understanding of our past, but also with a determination to help chart the future for those yet to come. And so that's the way I see it within the context of lest we forget. Because when we forget, then other people create our narrative. And so to avoid that, the book has been developed. Slavery, slave trade, colonization, emancipation, now reparation. And that's not the end.
No. That lays the foundation
exactly.
for what we are going to do together in the present and the future. Yes, and you know, it comes back again to Prime Minister Motley, because that was her message on Saturday. She said, look, the enemy is not going to be the armada of the the 18th century,
exactly.
the fleet of warships coming to conquer us. Or it's not going to be the Berlin Conference, where they sit down in Berlin and they carve up the African continent. She said, no, we're not going to face those. But the threat is going to be even more insidious. The threat is going to be more nuanced. The threat is going to be about how they control information, how they control the narrative, how they control what we think. And she said, if we are not careful, those forces that are still intent on dominating and exploiting us will reimpose more subtle forms of control and dominance that they will be even more difficult to confront and defeat than the old forms of colonialism that we fought, when we gained our freedom as independent countries. And so she made the point about emancipate yourself from mental slavery, and that we have to get control over our information. We have to get better control over our education system, our education processes, so that we can produce the kind of well-informed, enlightened, conscious populations that we are then capable of fighting our battles. We are capable of uniting and building our own nations, our own futures. And again, that's the point I was making too, that these these commemorations where we come together, we don't just do them just for the sake of going through the motions. It's all about coming together to build that collective consciousness, you know, to look back on our heroes, what they were trying to do, what they were saying to us, and to help us to get our thinking straight, to get our sense of purpose and vision straight. And I am so happy now that we have reached this stage of maturity and consciousness where we are building a collective future with our Caribbean brothers and sisters, but also with our African brothers and sisters. And I must tell you, Pearson, it is personally very, very satisfying for me. In fact, last week, one of the things I did last week in my capacity as chairperson of the Caribbean Pan-African Network, last week we held a very important Global Africa people-to-people forum where we came together, we from the Caribbean, we came together with the African Union's Economic, Social and Cultural Council and the African Union's Citizens and Diaspora Office. And we had this wonderful people-to-people forum, spokespersons from the Caribbean, from United States, from the African continent. Prime Minister Motley was there, Sir Hilary Beckles was there, but several dignitaries from the African continent, young people, we had youth respondents. So it was really a wonderful exercise in bringing together that Pan-African family, not just the big prime ministers and government officials, but officials of CARICOM, officials of AU, but young people and civil society people. And what were we talking about? Well, we were talking about our common agenda.
Yes.
All of the things, all of the challenges that we face together, and all of the things that we intend to do together to defeat those challenges and to go forward.
Lest we forget. And so people talk to people, we buy from people, we engage with people. And so knowing our brothers and sisters on the African continent is so critical for us making the change and reordering our minds, reordering our thoughts, reordering our society. And there are many structures of our society, Ambassador, which we have to really look at again. Education comes to mind immediately. Access, we talk freedom of movement, that is another step forward because travel will also have to play into that there as well. Our ability to move from the Caribbean back to Africa to get a sense of the realities that we all share.
Yes, these are some of the critical things that we have to deal with. And you hit them right on the head. Those are probably two of the most important. Our education system. We have to totally decolonize our education system. And we have to create a system where we are giving our young people the knowledge, the information about themselves, from our own perspectives, not some kind of colonial thing that relegates us to a footnote and it's all about governors and the British Colonial Office and so forth, but to understand our own authentic history and to create our own worldview where we are thinking for ourselves. No outside force can manipulate us intellectually or emotionally. So we still have a job to do to totally decolonize the system and to give our people that consciousness and strength. And then the other thing, transport. I'm going to be pushing hard that if there's one concrete outcome from that Africa CARICOM summit in September, we must come away from that summit with a serious commitment to and a plan for those direct flights between the African continent and the Caribbean region. Because if we can achieve that, then so much more can be built upon that, because many of the things that we want to do, we really can't do if people can't move. People have to be able to move, and goods have to be able to move, so we can do trade, we can do tourism, we can do people-to-people visits and linkages. So you've hit the nail on the head. And when we say education, it's not just the formal education, it's also like what we are doing now, the role that a Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation has to play. So those, I think you have touched on two very critical things. If we can get those two right,
oh yes,
if we can get the education and consciousness of our people right, and we can put in place that infrastructure for movement, for travel across the Caribbean, across the Atlantic to the African continent, to and fro, well, I think we would really have set the platform for great things.
I think so. So people, we need to wake up. We're at a point in time we have to be aware. We have to really wake up our minds and get more knowledge about where we are, why we are, where we are, the people with whom we need to connect, to people from whom we draw our source of energy, and get cracking on making the change we want to see. So thank you, Ambassador. This has been a really interesting conversation on CARICOM yet again. I really appreciate your efforts and your conversations.
Thank you, Pearson. As usual, it's a pleasure to come here and share with you on Tuesday mornings.
Thank you. We're back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, or lonely and have no one to talk to, call Lifeline Barbados. We all face struggles at times in our lives. You're not alone. There's no need to feel ashamed or embarrassed. It's okay to reach out for support. Lifeline Barbados is completely confidential. No one else will know you called. They're there to offer a caring ear and guidance without judgment. And fellas, I want you to know asking for help is a true sign of strength. It takes real courage to reach out. You can also call Lifeline Barbados if you're worried about loved ones who are struggling and you need advice on how to support them. There's a saying, a problem shared is a problem halved, but not everyone has someone they can confide in. That's why Lifeline Barbados exists, to be there for you or someone you care about during tough times. Save this number. Lifeline Barbados is just a call away. Remember, you can reach out whenever you need to talk.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented,
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So we're 26 minutes now to go to the hour of 7 o'clock as we turn our attention to the pesky reality that we all face, I think, as farmers. And for a lot of us as consumers, the ignorance when we engage in it ourselves, that thing known as predial larceny. Two big words. In other words, theft of crop. Simple, so as simple as that. And its impact on farmers and their sustainability and livelihood. And so joining us this morning, just ahead of a big public consultation that they're having with you, and which they're inviting you to come, is James Paul, Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Agricultural Society, and with him is the President of the Fruit and Vegetables Association, Peter Allen. Gentlemen, good morning to you.
Good morning, your listeners. Good morning.
Mr. Paul, still a big problem?
This is always a big problem. Yeah, and I was just making a comment really that the reason why it is a problem is because of our value systems. It's because of the fact that somehow built into our ways of doing things in this country, it seems it is okay to just take up produce from other people and it is no problem. And it starts when we are children. But you see, some mothers taught us correctly in that you were taught, look, if you wanted something from a neighbor's tree, ask a question. You just don't go on people's trees. But the point is really that what has happened is that this thing about just going and taking things from people, when it comes to agricultural commodities, it seems as if people, it has been built into our psyches and our value systems. And you can see it being reflected in how we deal with it. So farmers are really up against it. And of course, the other issue is this, that, when we look and see, for instance, the way it is dealt with in our law courts, and the fact that somehow people take what people do in agriculture for granted, it is a problem. So it is a very big problem because we do not understand that it does have an impact on farmers, on people who are involved in agriculture in general.
A lot of times we see theft of a vehicle. Oh, that has great value. But a potato, that's nothing, man. That's the attitude generally. You're right about the value system that has shifted. I know, Peter, you're laughing because that's true. That's the perception oftentimes. Right?
Very true. Very true. I mean, it's hard to be out there toiling in that sun, rain. You're buying fertilizers, you're buying seedlings, and I mean, you're watching your plants grow. And you have one fruit and you're feeling good. I can be in for some money now, and you leave the evening and know that everything is fine, and next morning you come back, the field is clean. I mean, it's very heartbreaking. You do not know how to go on. It's starting to feel like quitting, and it cannot quit. It cannot.
And you're right. I mean, imagine this, ladies and gentlemen. You've left home with your house intact, your TV in its spot, your fridge in its spot, everywhere that you have your house laid out. And you return home and you find emptiness. How would that make you feel? Seriously, how would that make you feel that your valuable jewelry is now missing simply because you turned your back for just a moment and you left your space all secure? And to think that someone took the opportunity to walk in there at their convenience and to plunder everything that you've had. How would you feel? How would you feel? The farmers feel the same way. That sense of loss, that sense of disappointment, that sense of despair really that happens, and the anger that flows therefrom. And so in some instances, one would think they're justified in feeling the way they do. But obviously our society is one of order, so we can't take all the matters into our own hands the way that sometimes farmers would want to take matters into their own hands. But Mr. Paul, sometimes a lot of people don't get it because they don't see the value. Oh, we'll fix your mic, we'll fix out in just a moment. Now I've realized it. But Mr. Ali, talk to me a little bit about the value, because we don't see the value.
Is that everybody says, oh, it's a melon, it's 2 tomatoes, it's 3 sweet potatoes. But everything has a value to it. And, at the same time is that is your livelihood. That's what pays the bills in the house. That's what puts food on. Although you're growing food, I mean, that's one part of our day. And furthermore is that we actually need to accept the farmers of Barbados, to realize the importance of farmers of Barbados, also food security. And I mean, that has been out there for a couple of years now about food security. And farmers out there trying to do their best. I mean, when I say do the best, really mean do the best. But when you could come and lose 1,000 pounds of melons at $2, that's $2,000. I mean, that's half your livelihood is gone, or whole of your complete livelihood is gone.
That's a significant amount.
It is. I mean, and I think what is that they don't stop at one. They find somebody else to go to and hit, and it has to be a market somewhere for it. Has to be, and the value, I mean, is very hurtful.
So how do you, from the Fruit and Vegetable Association, determine what's a legitimate market space for this product. I mean, you understand what I'm saying? Fruit disappears from this location and suddenly there's a glut over here. How do we sort this out?
Well, you know, at the same time, it's hard to decipher, very hard to decipher that, because you know, in a small island, once you have the glut throughout the whole island, you know. So, but there has to be some kind of market that is going on that are taking these stolen goods.
And it's for us to be able to do so. And so, Mr. Paul, value again, quantity and cost. Articulation of all of that so that people get a sense of really when they take from you that whole, the depth and the cost of the value of that whole that they've left.
Well, I mean, for instance, you have 6 weeks crops.
6 week crops.
Then you have 2-month crops, okay? And remember that there's a cycle in terms of production. And usually in farming, you will tend to find that because of how it is, sometimes you might come in for crop and it does not meet expectations. But what you want to do is to maintain an average in terms of making sure that you have at least a minimum amount of yield from the crop. What frustrates it, therefore, is that, you know, it is so delicate that sometimes you might come off a cycle where you might have had a bad crop. You get a good one, and when you get that particular good crop, what happens is that you lose it. That in itself produces a certain element of frustration, because as you say, you might have an acre of melons, right? And you're hoping at least that you make up for the previous crop from that particular acre. Now, if you don't get it, it means then it's a whole frustration exercise for that farmer. And I think that what, in terms of the values, is that, for instance, most people in farming do have some kind of side occupation. Some might be a plumber, a mason, they're doing something. And because the truth is, in Barbados, because of the size of the plots, you cannot just think that you can depend on that plot for your well-being, totally. But the thing is really that some of these other jobs that they have are not permanent jobs either. So that in itself is something that you have to consider. So a chap might be looking to say make $3,000-4,000 from a particular crop, but that's something that ties him over for a few months, okay, until of course it comes around. And then breaking the cycles to that's another thing, because you take a crop, say like lettuce, 6 weeks, 7 weeks or so, and it's a rotation principle, right? So we have to be very careful that in terms of the message that we are sending to people who say want to invest in agriculture. If you're going to put in an investment, you're looking to make some type of returns. And if you don't see that return coming forward from the activity that you are doing, you're going to have a problem. And that is one of the things, is that predatory larceny in itself constitutes one of the biggest disincentives to agricultural production, or even expansion of agricultural production. Because then you might have, in some cases, large fields, but the farmer only wants to plant as much as he can manage, or he thinks he can control or see. And that's one of the issues, because if he can't see it, he's not going to, because, you know, he can't protect it. So these fundamental things are some things that we need to look at. And, you know, the whole thing is that the society in itself don't treat the agriculture in the way it should sometimes too, because, you know, you have a situation where farmers, for instance, they invest. They meet a hard time, and there's no cushion under which that once you have a legitimate loss, that basically somebody will step in, because usually they tell you, you have to make your way. And these are the kind of challenges, but to have it in addition to predatory larceny is something else. And we've looked at some ways in which we could actually deal with it, but then it demands the cooperation of other stakeholders, because if you understand the system, it is really that we need some help. Not only the farmer himself alone can't do it. We need other actors along the value chain to actually participate in terms of controlling it.
You said there are ways we can deal with it. I'll talk about that in just a moment. But are you seeing people withdrawing from agriculture?
This has happened. Peter could tell you. I mean, we have had people who have said, look, this is it.
That's enough.
Right? And even, for instance, years ago, in fact, 2 years ago, we wanted to start a fruit tree drive among Barbadians. And their biggest problem was that, you know, I could raise a fruit tree, but am I going to be able to actually, you know, get anything from it? I know a chap right now, he has mangoes, okay? And the thing is really, you know, what amazes me? We have so many mangoes in Barbados right now, right? And I know people who do have mango trees, and sometimes, maybe it is the way it is. There are some people who have come into possession of lands, right? And for instance, a lot of them have nice fruit trees on them, you know, very nice fruit trees. But you know what? They don't do anything with them. They just drop on the ground. Yet, we have a consuming public that will go into the supermarket and buy imported mangoes at very expensive prices, right? Imported mangoes that we use foreign exchange, right, in order to purchase, borrowed foreign exchange, in order to purchase, right? And we think that's the best way we can use our resources in this country. There's no discipline. Because on the other hand, you have the elite, I call them intelligentsia, who think there's nothing about that. So we have a kind of a snob thing, okay, that says, okay, it is okay, we don't need to get it from that. And we are sending by our actions in Barbados the wrong message of how we treat agricultural produce. And that's one of the problems that we have.
I hear you. Peter, are people withdrawing from agriculture?
Yes, because although the government is giving lands for small farmers, people are coming in, but when they get problems, as fast as they come in, as fast as they go back out. So that is one of the problems that we're having in the agriculture sector.
And that's a problem for our economy. That's a problem for Barbados.
It is.
Because the freshest food comes from our lands, by
Correct.
you guys who
And
grow. And so it's important that we respect that and provide the opportunity for them to grow and the space for you to grow, to do so, to make a profit. After all, that's the reason why you're in business. You talked to Mr. Paul earlier about their plans, their things that we can do.
Yeah.
I'm curious as what some of those plans are. Can you share?
Yes, one is that, for instance, as I said, there are actors along the value chain. We talked a lot, for instance, about putting in a system, and I'm very firm on this. There are very few countries in the world where you have good systems, where you don't have a vendor being able to show proof of purchase. But we're not serious, because the problem in Barbados, we have this Kadir attitude. Oh, Kadir. You got fellas just got a few cans selling on the highway. What are you interfering the fellas for? The point is that, you know, seriously, right? I don't see anything wrong if you go walking at a person and say, can you show proof of purchase of this particular commodity that you have? But we got the Kadir, leave the fellas alone. Let them continue to thief in some cases, I'm not saying all, but in some cases as much as they can, and we turn a blind eye to it. So how does a plantation owner or a person who has things feel that, you know, here it is, you see, the fellas come, basically cut his cane, whatever, okay? And not only that, we are saying, oh, we want to be productive. We are setting double standards. And I'm not just talking about the cane. How does a lady, which I know for a fact, right, who say has a pear tree, who might come and say, well, okay, I would like to sell those pears, okay? But she comes and finds somebody up there in her pear tree, okay, picking the pears, and then what? She walks outside, and she sees the gentleman selling her pears outside, and people buy from him. No, that is the kind of double standards I'm talking about. So what we need is to have a system where we have stricter regulation of markets. And it happens in other countries. You can't go in an organized marketplace in some countries without showing or having some record as to how you actually purchased, how you got in possession of that fruit. The other thing is that in terms of the retailers, right, we have people who buy from persons. A person should not be able to just come off the street to you and say, you have some stuff here, I want to sell you it. You know, you can work with us. The BAS, for instance, we have a core group of farmers who actually, they come and we check and see that they have produce. Work with us so we can work a system in which you can actually ensure that persons who sell you produce, that they come into it by lawful means. And I know that we have this system again. Why should we go through that trouble? But to protect everybody, you must have rules But we sometimes we talk about these things, but we don't want to have any rules. We don't want to have people regulating what we do or how we do it, because at the end of the day, we are protecting the system and protecting those people who are actually producing. Right. The other thing is that, for instance, how we treat these things in the courts. I'm very sorry, but when I hear some of the comments coming from magistrates and judges about, a person carrying away, and you must look at it in a different way, because it's just a simple thing, or what? It's just a breadfruit, it's just a mango, that this is the kind of things. In other words, we attach importance to some things, okay, but when it comes to other things, it is the principle that is involved. It is the principle, because if we continue to tell our people that it's okay to take up things that don't belong to them, right? And we give them a slap on the wrist and tell them go ahead. I know, for instance, in some parts of the country, where you have people who actually, they get caught today and they come around by the fellow who go and say, "I back up, man."
Oh dear.
I am right here.
Yeah, that's not good at all.
Yes.
But we're having discussion, folks, this discussion, because in a couple of days there's going to be a public discussion with you. And we'll give you more details about when, where, how, all of those when we come right back after this break.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're 7 to 7. We're looking at perennial larceny just ahead of a forum coming up, public forum with you involved indeed. And so we're joined by James Paul, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Agricultural Society, and Mr. Peter Allen, who is the President of the Fruit and Vegetables Association. Mr. Allen, off air you were telling me about, you've painted for me a scenario that's real. And it's so important. I'd love for you to repeat that.
As I said, you go in a supermarket, you take out 2 jars of peanut butter or 2 jars of jam, and you go in through the door. The guard stops you, and you're carried, and the police are called in. You're arrested. The supermarket is going to press charges, and next minute you see him all over the paper saying, "Oh, this fellow stole thing. Where's the Kadir?" Right? It's no Kadir for him, right? But when they go to a farmer's land, or they plant one seed, and they get 10 melons off that one plant. Kadir, let the man go. That was unfair for the farmer, because that one seed, he had to nurture it, he had to raise it, he had to fertilize it, he had to keep the pest and disease off of it, right? He had to weed the field so that it keeps the plant healthy. And at Kadir, no.
And in your ecosystem, there are other people who benefit from that, your work as well. As a planter, you have workers who have to be paid. And so when you rob all of them of all of that, there's a whole number of people who are hurt.
Wait, I want just on the question of workers. I am dumbfounded sometimes when I hear people say, "Oh, we can't find things to do." There are people who will come around farms, see you doing work, all of these boys on the block singing all kind of stuff, okay? And some of them are encouraged to be on the block, right? And they will scope you out. You think a lot of these steps, they scope you out. You ask them, "Listen, come and give me a day's work." They can't come, but they scope in your place, right? Or they might come at strategic times, right? And they scope in your place. And these same people that you say, "Oh, I want my son or daughter involved in a hard work," right? But I always say there's decency in everything, in hard work, right? And those same people who you don't want to get involved, they're the ones who come back when you night come and carry your produce. You know, this is the kind of double standards that we have in this country. We, on the one hand, we are saying we don't want our children to do this or we don't want our children to do that, right? But on the other hand, we want them to thief.
Yeah. So we got to change the double standards. So the 31st of July, talk to me a little bit about the forum. It's happening in a couple of days' time. Where is it?
It is at Kensington Oval. And what we want to hear is from the farmers themselves, because we have spoken a lot about these things, but the farmers themselves are doing some wonderful things in terms of trying to protect their crops. Right? I don't want to discuss a lot about it, but they're doing things involving security firms, involving new technologies and things such as these. And we want them to share that. And not only that, to say, look, this is what we suggest, because we're going to have the new legislation there that they will see and they'll talk about and say, okay, what else do you think we can do in order to complement in terms of either new legislation, maybe in terms of how the police force functions, okay? The supermarkets themselves, how they function, okay? What can they do to help and assist those farmers? And it is coming from the farmers themselves. Because in this whole question of predial larceny, we always get them being spoken to, either by the politicians, either by the legal people, telling them, oh, this is what we do. Sounds very wonderful, okay? But in this situation, what we are doing is that we're examining what the farmers are doing, and they are coming up with ideas in terms of, okay, this is what we suggest, and we are going to produce a document that we will share with the authorities in terms of these are the way forward that this is the way forward that the farmers see.
This on July the 31st, Kensington Oval.
That's right.
The oval's huge. Where exactly Kensington Oval?
It's actually in a room.
Okay.
It's from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. We're asking all the farmers of Barbados, not only the BAS farmers and the fruit and veg, we're asking all farmers, beef and dairy, apiculture, bees, sheep and goat. If you are even a small farmer, even if you're a backyard farmer, we ask you to come out because we need the support. Because we are, as I said, I was supposed to say, we are going to make recommendations to the government so that we can get things to start going forward. So I mean, we're hoping for a massive crowd. I understand the room can hold over 100 people.
Good.
So we're hoping that is a massive crowd.
So when you turn up on the 31st at Kensington Oval, the security officers will tell you exactly which room to go to. And don't just show up and sit there mute and say, oh, that's Peter's story. I come to, as we say, gypsy. You have an experience that you can share. You have an idea that you can share as to how we can stem this problem of predial larceny. That is what we want, that kind of rich discussion indeed. And so don't simply bellyache. Think about it between now and the 31st with what you see are possible solutions. Turn up at Kensington Oval on the 31st from 10 o'clock in the morning. Get there before 10, secure your spot, and bring along all of you in farming activity, whether it's animal farming, poultry farming,
correct,
agricultural farming.
That's right.
Come, because your information will inform the suggestions that will be tabled to government to help you farmers indeed. And so let's together as a collective farming community be a part of it. And those of you who are also fringe benefiters, that's a bad word, but now you understand what I'm saying, you can also come, I suppose, because you are an outlet. And because you operate an outlet, you might have also a position to put.
That's right.
So come share that information as well. It's open to all of you. It's a whole ecosystem. That ecosystem has to help with the solution. So it's happening 31st of July, Kensington Oval, starting at 10 o'clock. It's just a couple hours. It's going to take your entire day, but I'm sure that you will spend extra time. But come, it is important. And your voice, your opinion, your suggestions are equally important. All ideas will contend. So please come to Kensington Oval on the 31st. Gentlemen?
And this will not be the last as well, because
for sure
we're planning to actually, this is the first, and we are planning to go forward with many more.
Good.
Because we need to get it, and it has to be understood for people that this is the importance, this is people's livelihood, and I'm a very passionate farmer.
I see it.
And I mean, it hurts to know that other farmers out there are losing to people who don't have any sense of I would say a don't care attitude, that whatever you spend, that belongs to me now, not you. Right?
I get you. I feel it. I feel it. Trust me, I do. James Paul, Peter Aline, thank you so much, gentlemen.
And thank you for having
I really hope that it's well supported indeed.
Hope so. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You there.
Okay.
You never know. Thank you. We're back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment's Bridges television series is back. Join us every Wednesday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Saturdays at 5:30 p.m. on CBC TV 8.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Let's look at news now. The removal of garbage from overflowing trash cans across this island started yesterday and will continue today. Some Sanitation Service Authority workers resumed work last evening after being off the job for the past 5 days. Full operations are expected to resume today. That's the word from the chairman of the SSA, Ramon Aline, who provided us with the update on that matter. The management has a planned meeting with the workers' representative body, the National Union of Public Workers, later today.
Today I would have made a visit to the Wildy Depot to assess the situation. There I would have met with Mr. Green of the NUPW and Mr. Waldron, and I would have indicated to them and reiterated the position that the workers needed to return to the job before any further meetings could be had, on the basis of a commitment that a meeting would be held tomorrow afternoon. The workers went back on the job. Trucks would have rolled off the compound this afternoon, and it is understood and agreed that they would continue normal operations tomorrow morning.
Just as context, now last Thursday, workers downed tools and staged industrial action, and according to them, they were protesting several issues, among them the absence of personal protective equipment needed to do their jobs.
The full complement would not have been able to go this evening, but normal operations should, if the commitments are kept, return tomorrow morning.
All operations at the Sanitation Service Authority should resume today. When businesses decide to increase prices on products, they must justify the move. That's the opinion from the Barbados Consumer Employment Network, which also contends that although the central bank governor has reported slower inflation, Barbadians are not feeling any relief in their pockets. However, Executive Director of BCN Maureen Holler says this figure does not reflect the reality for everyday Barbadians, particularly when it comes to prices.
We welcome the governor's observation that headline inflation has slowed to around 0.5%. But we will also want to stress that this does not translate into declining prices. Consumers continue to endure persistently elevated costs, particularly in essentials like food, energy, housing, and various other areas. In light of the rising import costs and potential price pressure, we then would want to urge businesses to clearly justify any increases, especially in response to events like the recent minimum wage adjustment. We believe, and we've said it before, that consumers deserve transparent explanations when price hikes occur.
Barbados is at the center of efforts to strengthen trade and investment between Africa and the Caribbean. This from Acting Chief Operating Officer, Caribbean Office, at the African Export-Import Bank, Okechukwu Ihejika. He was speaking at the 4th Annual Afro-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum held in Guyana. He says ACTIV has become more than just an event, but now serves as a platform for action. With Afrexim Bank's Caribbean office headquartered in Barbados, the official says the region is now in a stronger position to unlock opportunities with Africa's market of 1.2 billion people.
We did set up our Caribbean office based in Bridgetown, Barbados, as our way forward. And then following that, prior to that, we had the ACTIV. Now, in terms of membership, we are seeing action take place. You know, Jamaica signed like 3 weeks ago. We've seen deals being announced to show that to doubting Thomases, those who didn't believe that there is actually opportunity between Africa and the Caribbean, that indeed a huge amount of opportunity exists for us to collaborate and partner. So that we are saying we have credit approval for over 700 million of deals.
To sports now, the West Indies have suffered a bat-to-bat series sweep by the visiting Australians. Following a 3-0 whitewash in the Test match series, the Windies went down 5-0 in the T20 Internationals, losing the final match last evening at Warner Park in St. Kitts. Sent into bat for the 5th consecutive time, the Windies were bowled out for 170 off 19.4 overs. Shimron Hetmeyer top scored with 52, that included 3 fours and 3 sixes, while Ben took 3 for 41. The Aussies replied with 173 for 7 in 17 overs to win by 3 wickets. That's our news until now. We'll have more news coming up at noon here on TV8. Morning Barbados is back in just a moment.
Hurricane Tips brought to you by ICBL. Always there when you need us most.
Review your insurance policy and understand what is covered. In some cases, a property may be insured for less than its true value, which may affect the calculation of the payout against the claim. This tip is brought to you with the kind compliments of ICBL. For more information on available policies, call 434-6000.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment's Bridges television series is back. Join us every Wednesday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Saturdays at 5:30 p.m. on CBC TV 8. Don't you miss it.
God will not give you a job. God will not call you to do something and then not give you the capacity to have it, to make it happen. He will give you the resources, he'll give you the people. Not only will he equip you with ideas, but he will equip you with favor, as he did Nehemiah.
Turn on the latest episode of Infinite Possibilities, only on CBC TV 8, every Sunday at 1:30 p.m., sponsored by Covenant Life Teaching Center.
Welcome to Nature's Discount, the ultimate health food store. At Nature's Discount, we have thousands of quality products at great prices.
Hi guys, Dottie here with Nature's Discount, and today we are talking about Solar Ray, microbiome, probiotics, and why you should be taking them.
And we have well over 3,000 amazing products to help you get healthy.
For your health tips, tune in to CBC TV 8 every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for Nature's Discount, sponsored by Get Healthy Incorporated.
Week after week, Scold presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations, lifestyle and trends of tomorrow, mobility and tourism, health news, highlights from art and culture. Each contribution grabs the viewer with extraordinary images and stories and takes him into fascinating worlds which he experiences here exclusively and up close. We're there when companies and specialists develop super satellites for a global network in space and can look behind the scenes. Scold is a window to everything that is there or is yet to come. Fly with us through time to better understand today and tomorrow. You've always wanted that. Scald. A look into the future.
Our world today is not the world God wants it to be. One of the reasons, which will surprise many, is that our planet, its governments, and its peoples are all living under the weight of Satan's rule. From the beginning of mankind's existence to today, human history is the written record of what it means to live under the rule of the devil. Yet that rule is coming to an end, and what a difference that will make.
Every Sunday at 9 a.m. on CBC TV 8, tune in for Tomorrow's World, sponsored by the Living Church of God.
Books open your heart, your mind, and your soul. They are educational, entertaining, inspiring, and motivating. Are you an author of a recent book you want to share? Then Mornin Barbados would love to feature your book in our The Next Chapter segment. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. That's morning without the G. Come and let us turn those pages together.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, or lonely and have no one to talk to, call Lifeline Barbados. We all face struggles at times in our lives. You're not alone. There's no need to feel ashamed or embarrassed. It's okay to reach out for support. Lifeline Barbados is completely confidential. No one else will know you called.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We are 11 and a half minutes now after 7 o'clock. Here's a notice quickly for you from NUPW Insurance Agents Incorporated. And it's an important NUPW medical insurance plans meeting. And so they're inviting you, as you look at your screen, to join them for updates and discussions. It's Wednesday the 30th, that's tomorrow, Wednesday the 30th at 10:30 in the morning, to be held at the NUPW's headquarters at Dalkeith in St. Michael. For those of you who cannot make the physical meeting, you are invited to join them on Zoom. The information is on your screen. Take a look quickly at the meeting ID number and the passcode. It starts at 5 in the afternoon. And of course, if you need some assistance, you may call 228-7133 or 836-1949 or 836-1951 for more information. So we encourage you to be a part. All right, I want to have some fun with you. Do you mind? I hope you say yes, because I'd like for you to call me now on 228-5562 or 228-5563. I haven't done this in a long time, but the last time I had an opportunity to do this with you, there was a question I asked of you that none of you got. And so I'll ask it again. Why do bees have sticky hair? Why do bees have sticky hair? Why? Why do they have sticky hair? I know some of you know the answer because you've messaged me and I shall not respond to those messages. Call me and let me know. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Why do bees have sticky hair? Ugh. Why do bees have sticky hair? Do you have any idea? Do you know? I think you do. Call me and tell me. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Why do bees have sticky hair? Why? For those of you who've probably done your biology, the study of bees, have you studied them enough to figure why they have sticky hair? If you think you know that answer, because you've known it for a little while, call me, 228-5562 or 228-5563. You guys know me now. You know, I don't move from a question until I have a correct answer. So let's see who gets through first. Good morning. Hello. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, how do you do?
I'm blessed.
All right,
And
could you do me a favor? I'm well, thank you for asking. Turn down the volume on your TV. It will confuse you till you don't know
Sorry, Pearson.
That's
Sorry,
all right.
Pearson.
I forgive you because I'm not sharing lashes today. So here we are. Who's calling?
I can't hear.
Can you?
To pollinate the plants, Pearson.
No, hold on. Who's calling? You can't hear?
Go ahead again.
Okay. What's your name? All right, you go
It's
ahead
the
and come
pollinate.
again. You go ahead and come again. Go ahead and come again. Listen to your telephone. You don't call somebody and listen to the radio. You call someone, you listen to the phone. That's where you will hear them. So only listen to your telephone. Do not listen to any other noises coming from anywhere else, from any other device. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Why do bees have sticky hair? Why do bees, and based on what I just heard her say, she was wrong, by the way. 228-5562 or 228-5563. So don't even try that answer. Why do bees have sticky hair? Why do bees have sticky hair? None of you knows? Good morning. Good morning.
I got hold on.
Good morning.
Because you go, plays beyond it.
Can you all help me in the back there, please? Turn down everything, everybody, please, and just simply listen to me. Listen to me and me alone. And if you don't hear my voice, then you're not hearing at all. So that way I'll know the voice will go if I don't control it as well. So why do bees have sticky hair? Help me out. Why do bees have sticky hair? Why? 228-5562 or 228-5563. Why do bees have sticky hair? Don't do this to me my first morning back. Good morning. Hello. Here we go again. Good morning. All right, that seems not to be working. But I'll tell you what, we will see if we have that resolved. And as soon as we do, we'll get right back to you. Promise that we'll do. But here's something I want to share with you. Amanda Reefer, listen to me, production crew, Amanda Reefer. Now, you know her from the band Cover Drive, and they've done some such wonderful work, I'm told. Yes, I do know for a fact. I know you do too. But Amanda's voice is also being lent to something else. Do you know what it is? Take a look.
Let us talk hair. Sometimes people ask me what is the inspiration behind this hairstyle that I love to wear. And y'all, I love to wear my hair like this. It makes me feel regal and poised. I'm proud of my heritage and my culture. And that's because it's inspired by Barbadian history and culture. In Barbadian history, we have a group of women called the Mobby women. Mobby women used to carry their livelihood on their heads. This is very common in African and Caribbean culture. So these Mobby women used to have these huge canisters filled with this local traditional drink called Mobby. It's made from the bark of a tree. I cannot explain to you what it tastes like. You just have to try it. But these women used to carry these huge, heavy, physically burdensome canisters filled with this drink and a little nozzle here. But it is the way that they went through the town and went through the street and went through the beaches with such balance and charm and charisma and grace and poise. That's what inspires me. And that's what I'm honoring with this hairstyle. It is honoring these women who were able to provide for themselves and their families in such a challenging way and do it so gracefully and do it so regally. And so this is my way of honoring that part of my culture and my heritage and my history and acknowledging those women.
Well done, Amanda. You know there's a reason for everything. Did you see it? Would you try it yourself? Would you wear your hair like that? Honestly, would you? All right. In New York, as a matter of fact, you know when we travel, we tend to want to find the taste that we know that fits our palate. And sometimes we want to experiment as well. I tend to experiment just a little bit, but at the same time, I want something of a taste that I'm familiar with. The number 4 ranked restaurant in New York City is actually providing food crafted from the love of a Barbadian chef. Did you know that? Did you not know that? Take a look.
So behind me is the number 4 ranked restaurant in New York City right now. And I'm extra excited because it's actually a Caribbean tasting menu. And I'm bringing y'all with me to try it out. We're at Kabawa. This is the chef Paul Carmichael, a culinary legend from Barbados. He's won tons of awards and accolades, like having the number 1 restaurant in Australia and known for being one of the first to bring Caribbean flavors into the fine dining space. Right from the jump, the chefs are talking to you, making it super interactive. When you look over the menu, you're noticing grandma style recipes, innovated with fine dining precision. And me as a Jamaican, to see a taste of the Caribbean elevated like this is super exciting. It's a 3-course $150 tasting menu, and the move is to bring a friend to try more items. It starts with a roti and fried bami, which is fried cassava, and it was served with dips like chana, chutney, pepper jelly. It's basically a Caribbean bread basket, and it was delicious. Our official first course was a breadfruit tostones with slices of octopus perfectly cooked. And there's this Jamaican pepper shrimp topped with sorrel powder and a scotch bonnet crema. What is even going on in the best way possible? Now our main course comes out with some sides to round out the dish, but y'all, this goat, it's cooked for hours and topped with this curry sauce. It's rich, it's tender, it's so good. And the island heat was coming through on this one, trust me. We also got the cobia fish, which was delicious, especially that broth. Dessert was a coconut turnover that takes an hour to make. It's got a cream cheese glaze. Think of it as an island cinnamon roll. I couldn't get enough. Everything was so good, y'all. Kabawa needs to be added to the list.
As a foodie, that's just made me really, really hungry to test it, to try it indeed. So perhaps the next time you are in New York City, you look for a kabawa. And when you do, know that you're savoring the taste, the creativity, the style, the flair, the love of a Barbadian chef. Boy, am I looking forward to that opportunity sometime really soon. Last weekend, as you know, I wasn't around, and so I had a chance to travel through to Grantley Adams International Airport, and who should I see? Lo and behold, Edwin Yearwood and Tony Bailey. I said, boys, where you guys are going? They're heading off to another performance somewhere in the world. And recently, as they celebrate their 30th anniversary, they were in Holland. And so when you take soca music to Holland, how do they respond? Take a look. So there you go. There you go. Boy, it must feel so sweet to know that you've gone into a foreign land of the Dutch, knew your song word for word, beat for beat, bang for bang. And so celebrating 30 years of great music, Crossfire indeed, and so that was one of their recent performances in Holland. They tell me the phone line has been working now. It's working again. Let me see if I can hear from thee if you have the right answer to the question. Why do bees have sticky hair? Why do bees have sticky hair? Let's try this again. Let's see if you and I can connect on the phone and I can get from you a correct answer. Why do bees have sticky hair? Call me right now. Let's see if we can get this going. 228-5562 or 63. Fingers are crossed. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hello, how do you do?
I am doing quite well. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well too. Thank you for asking. Glad to know you're doing well. Who's calling?
Desiree Gamble.
Desiree. Miss Gamble, where are you watching us from?
St. John.
St. John, okay. You think you know the answer?
Yes, I think I know
I think you do not.
But I think I do.
All right, let me hear what you think you do.
Hints last week.
Since last week you were trying?
Yes, I tried from last week and you were giving all the hints.
So you better be right. You better be right. You had a whole week to sort this out. What's your answer?
Because they use honeycombs.
Are you positive on that?
Positive.
That's the best you could do over a week?
Yeah, that's the best I could do.
You could come up with no other answer?
No other answer.
And you think that's the most logical of them all?
Yes.
And you believe it's because they use honeycombs?
Correct.
You ever see a bee comb in his hair? Answer my question.
Well, based on the riddle and the sticky hair, yes.
That's not what I asked you. I asked you, have you ever seen a bee comb his hair?
No, I've never been that close, but it's a logical answer.
Would you like to get closer to a bee?
No, I wouldn't want to get closer to a bee.
You're afraid. Miss Gamble, you are absolutely right. Well done, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well done. She had a whole week. You had a whole week. That's why. Question for you. What can you put between 4 and 5 so that the result is more than 4 but less than 5? Easy. What can you put between 4 and 5 so that your result is more than 4 but less than 5? So easy I can't begin to imagine. What would take you so long to call me on 228-5562 or 228-5563? What can you put between 4 and 5 so that your result is that 4 is more than 4 and it's less than 5? So it's more than 4 and less than 5. What would you put between there to make that happen? 228-5562 or 228-5563. I can hear you say, Pierce, I wasn't good at math at school. Me neither. But I know the answer. I can figure it out. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. 228-5562 or 228-5563. What can you put between 4 and 5 so that the result is more than 4 but less than 5? What can you put? Good morning. Hello.
Good morning, Pearson.
Oh, I love the way you called my name. Why did you call it like that?
Because I'm feeling crazy this morning.
You're feeling crazy this morning? So a crazy feeling brings a crazy answer, do you think?
You mean to your riddle?
Yes.
That is so easy, and I hated math. At least I hope I'm right.
I hope. Listen, if I tell you what just crossed my eyesight, you wouldn't begin to imagine. Come. We have a very special guest for you, ladies and gentlemen. Come quickly. We're going to have this special guest on the scene in just a moment. So what's your answer quickly? What's your answer?
A dot, a period, whatever you want to call it.
A full stop?
Yes.
No, a full stop can't work.
Yes.
A full stop cannot work.
4.5 is more than 4.
A full stop cannot work. Walk in. look at your screen. Sit there. Look what just... Sorry. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
This is so funny.
I'm corralled. You guys have not invited me for an interview, so I'm here to do one.
Well, welcome to Mornin Barbados.
Morning.
How do you do today?
I'm very fine, thank you.
How's the festival going for you?
It's excellent. We've got a beautiful final coming up. And based on what I'm hearing, my song could win.
Your song could win?
Yeah. Waiting for that to happen.
So it makes me wonder then, who are you?
I'm Corral.
Corral the world. So what's a combination of mother and father's name?
Yeah, we had to put it together, you know. Parents do that and then come up with all these foolish names.
Yeah,
so we decided to try that.
I ended up with a child like you.
Yeah, this hair though, man.
Is it annoying?
It's annoying, man.
So what are you going to do with it? How are you going to style it?
Well, you just come on finals night. You'll see.
Perhaps I should.
You just come along. You'll see.
Perhaps I really should.
Don't forget, it's the national festival.
It is a national festival.
National Corral de Mil Festival.
You really love your hair, don't you?
Oh, it's magnificent. I just got it yesterday.
It's your crown.
I'll change it in time for the finals. You know, I'm about change.
I know you are about change.
I am about change. So, everything. Like I changed your morning show. You didn't expect me to come
I did not.
Absolutely. So I'm here.
But I'm glad to have you nonetheless.
Absolute pleasure.
I mean, you do fantastic things still.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. So if you were to change
anything... Is that for you to get a free ticket to come to the finals at Botanical Gardens?
Perhaps it is.
Don't forget it's coming off this weekend. It's the biggest finals that we've got. And we've got 4 former monarchs looking to win again. And you know who my champion is, right?
Who is your champion?
I'm hailing.
You know, I'm told if you keep playing with your hair, it'll drop out.
Well, it better do.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Both are behaving badly. Sorry about that. So Friday night coming up is the final.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I mean, this is going to be a ding-dong battle.
Oh, it's one of the toughest competitions we've had.
Yeah.
And the judges, they've done a really good job.
They have.
Trust me, I think it's probably the best 18
I think so too.
that you could have gotten out of the Calypso tents. And my fear of the early judging was that the judges normally start and judge low. This is not the case. They've done really well. This is the second year, by the way, that they've done very, very well. And I heard somebody, I think it was Adrian Clark, I hear saying that people said last year was not competitive. Yeah, last year was extremely competitive.
Yes, it was.
And this year is going to be even more competitive, and you should second that.
I second it.
Because you never know what's going to happen.
One never knows.
I mean,
we may have,
crystal clear,
we have to issue condolences at the end of it all to some people, but nonetheless.
It's crystal clear. Well, I've been talking with Karen, and I've said to her what you need to do. Please don't wear no wigs. The wigs are exclusively for me this year. How are you, ma'am? Okay, good. Your orange looks really nice.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, and you are?
And that white?
I'm Coral de Mo, don't
Nice
forget.
meeting you. I won't.
You'd meet her on Friday, for sure. But it's a good final, I think. You're right. We have some former monarchs in there. We have people who've done well in the competition over the years.
Of course.
We have some strong, powerful female voices in there as well.
Of course, yeah. The females were solid this year, you know. They were very, very solid.
Very.
And there are some young people in there. I'm watching Dynamo. Dynamo is going to be solid. Billboard must be hailed, though. Billboard wrote so many songs in the finals this year. So he must be hailed, and he's going to do well. He says he don't want the crown, but you know that's talk. But I want the crown. See, like, oh, he want, Corrado want the crown. You see, he ain't coming down. You heard about that boy, you know? So you heard about him?
I heard about him.
Yeah. The band he saw, but we played. I'm going to play forever, ever, man. Question, I going here, I got work to do.
Jeez, oh, Brad, what a short visit. Well, thank you for passing
Thank
through.
you very much.
You're very welcome. Corral de Mal. Father, forgive me. That was funny. That is what I love. That was truly funny indeed. All right, folks. So, did I get an answer? No, it was not a full stop. The lady's gone off the phone. It was not a full stop, though. I know that's what you described it as. I think I know what you're going with. But if you say to me, you put a full stop or a period, that is not the answer. So the question remains, what can you put between 4 and 5 so that the result is more than 4 and less than 5? It's not a full stop. What is it called, however? 228-5562 or 228-5563. Remember to pick the crop finals on Friday. Live coverage on radio for sure. And of course, you hope to see it right here on CBC TV8. But look out for that. It's going to be quite a ding-dong battle. If it be the will of the Lord, I shall be there. And we'll bring live commentary of it on radio for sure. But I'm waiting on your call for the answer to that question. What can you put between 4 and 5 so that the result is more than 4 and less than 5? What is it that you put? 228-5562 or 228-5563. I'll take a break. You can interrupt me anytime, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, or lonely and have no one to talk to, call Lifeline Barbados. We all face struggles at times in our lives. You're not alone. There's no need to feel ashamed or embarrassed. It's okay to reach out for support. Lifeline Barbados is completely confidential. No one else will know you called. They're there to offer a caring ear and guidance without judgment. And fellas, I want you to know asking for help is a true sign of strength. It takes real courage to reach out. You can also call Lifeline Barbados if you're worried about loved ones who are struggling and you need advice on how to support them. There's a saying, a problem shared is a problem halved, but not everyone has someone they can confide in. That's why Lifeline Barbados exists, to be there for you or someone you care about during tough times. Save this number. Lifeline Barbados is just a call away. Remember, you can reach out whenever you need to talk.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We are 26 minutes now to go to the hour of 8 o'clock. I am pleased to be sitting across from me with a lady, Dr. Angela White, who is an author, but she's also the founder and philanthropist of Destiny and Purpose Academy. And as I told you at the start of the show, there is the King's Mail Code. What is that code? What does it unlock? And when it unlocks what it does, what do we do with what we find inside? We'll be taking a look at that with her right now. Dr. White, good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
Well, how do you do?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here.
No, welcome home.
Thank you.
Welcome home indeed. How does it feel to you to be on the land of your birth?
Wow, it's awesome. Actually, I was born in America. My mom, yeah, her family originated from Barbados.
From Barbados?
Yeah.
So your mother is Barbadian?
Yes.
Is your father American?
I grew up in a single-parent household.
Single-parent, okay.
Yeah.
So what did she tell you about Barbados?
Not a whole lot. In fact, when we were, the whole reason why I wanted to go into my Barbadian heritage is my mom passed away from cancer a few years or so ago, and I had a cousin that started looking into our heritage. And obviously I couldn't get a lot of information before then. It was her. He would be my great-great-great-grandfather, I guess.
Yes, so
on
far
her
removed.
maternal side. So far removed. So after she passed, it was just my heart to dig into her heritage and find out more about it, not just for me, but for my children, and especially for me. I want to know.
What have you found in your digging?
Not a whole lot yet. I'm still digging. I'm still digging because my mom was so funny. She would say, well, I don't know if it's Barbados. I don't know if it's Bermuda. It's one of those B's.
Yes.
Right. But when my cousin really started doing the research, I think he narrowed it down to Barbados. And so I just felt to sort of pick up the legacy. So I'm excited now to be in a position where I can get that information and find out more about it and this, you know.
So is your plan to visit our Department of Archives?
Yes, I did a couple of years or so ago, and it sort of overwhelmed me.
But there are officers there who can help you.
Yeah.
You don't have to do your search alone.
Right.
And you know, even if you're not here and you leave enough, they can send you the information later.
Okay.
But I really do hope that you find everything you need to know about who you are.
I really
and
do.
the like. So therefore, if I were to ask you, what does she cook that was Barbadian, you can't even answer me.
I can't even answer you. Well, I probably could answer you. You know, we obviously it wasn't cuckoo. We didn't call it cuckoo like that. But just in the way in which she cooked, and just the things that she did, I can tie it back and see that it has a lot of that. So if she were to sit here right now, like I said, she would probably be we lose a lot of okra for sure.
Yes, go good.
And a lot of seafood.
Nice,
yes,
nice.
Right, that kind of thing. So I don't really know what her answer would even be to the question.
Did she speak with a Bajan accent?
It's interesting. We lived in South Carolina, so in Charleston, South Carolina, obviously you hear a lot of the dialect.
Yes.
When you hear my mother, you hear more of it. So when I listen to her, it sounds like a Bajan dialect.
Wow.
So I tell people all the time, to me anyway, it sounds very Bajan. So she does. It wasn't like she sat down and would say it's a Bajan dialect, but that's what it sounds like.
But
you know, we call it Gullah Geechee. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about values, because you know, mothers have a way of imparting values and sayings and the like. Is there anything about what your mother said that you can recall?
My mother, she was a very tenacious woman and faith-driven. So a lot of that just really stuck with me. You know, you work hard. She had a work ethic that was just impeccable. Your work ethic spoke a lot for who she was, and a lot about you just don't quit. You know, you be tenacious in the fight, and even as she struggled with the cancer in the final years of her life, she was just a fighter. You just don't quit. You have a work ethic beyond anything, and it's your faith that drives you. So you believe in that, you hold on to that, and you'll be okay.
That's a Barbadian spirit, girl. That's the Barbadian spirit right there. So when you reflect on your mother, do you see a lot of her in you?
I see all of her in me. That was my best friend.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So it's funny, I joke with my siblings sometimes, and they're like, you're just like your mother. So I'm the oldest girl. My brother had passed right before my mom. So just in the way she handled things, how she was just the solid rock of the family. Now that sort of is me, you know, just that maternal instinct and just the rock. You know, you just don't quit.
Yes.
You drive and you do it no matter what, and that's really just been my thing.
And a lot of what you were doing in your thing was impacting other lives, your siblings' lives, other people around you, their lives, and now then becoming the matriarch of the family.
Yeah.
You know, you took on a different kind of role because now you see their future. in front of you. And you've come up with this thing called the King's Mail Code. What is that about?
Well, what the King's Code Summit is about, it's King's Code, and so we talk about the crown, the code, the commission. So the crown is legacy and identity. The code is wisdom and leadership. And the commission is being commissioned into your legacy and your calling. The interesting thing about it is that came to me, I'm a boy mom. So being a boy mom, I just have this heart and drive to see young men raised up and become who they are. And so you wear your crown when you identify who you are, and then you pass on that legacy. You bring people along, elderly people, well, I'm not going to say elderly, I'm going to say seasoned, okay, that can help you unlock the code, give you wisdom, teach you about leadership. And then, based on those principles, then you tie into that, the commissioning. We're going to walk with you now so that you can understand what you're called to do or purpose to do, and so that you now can leave legacy. So once these are imparted into you as a young person, especially as a young male, you have all these things. The crown, you wear your crown. The code, you know what it is. And now you're in a position where you're going to get commissioned to walk into these things.
A lot of this is historic,
yeah,
I think, based upon what you're saying. But sometimes one's culture or one's conditioning is not necessarily always positive.
Right.
And we fear the crown. We fear that the heavy is the crown, the head that bears the crown.
Yeah.
And so talk to me a little bit about identifying what are the true good values that one has to have in one's code. How did you go about doing that?
With young people or just in general?
In general, and then we'll come to young people.
Yeah, I think you have to know your identity. You have to be solid in that. And if you don't know and understand who you are and where you come from, it will become difficult to wear your crown. So I believe it's progressive in the sense that sometimes you may not know and understand exactly what you're on this earth to do or exactly what you're called to do. Okay, so the crown makes me think about you just, for whatever reason, I just thought about David in the Bible or what have you. And as I was thinking about him and thinking about his walk even as a young boy, you walk through this progress or this progression that you have to go through, and you may not necessarily know who you are.
Yes.
But you learn
as you go.
As you go. And at some point, you can put that crown on and put it on with confidence because you've had all these experiences, you've walked through the life, and it comes with hardship. It may not necessarily, you just said it yourself, it may not necessarily be an easy thing, but inside of you, innate in you, you have to know for yourself that you are a king.
But David had the elders.
Yeah.
David had others around him who reminded him straight and narrow.
Yeah.
Straight and narrow. He's just another boy.
Yeah.
Straight and narrow. And so it is important, I suppose, in what you're doing here, that you have that support around you.
Yes, absolutely.
And not just support in its broadest sense, but male support is also vital.
Yes, absolutely.
So talk to me about how you see this being embedded into the Barbadian boy child.
That's a good question. So this is the thing. When you talked about the elders just a moment or so ago, and there was, this proverb where we hear it takes a village or what have you. So the village for me is being the nurturer and bringing along men who can pour into these young boys as it relates to the King's Code Summit. And so that's sort of how I see it. I bring that piece, the nurturing value. The men come along and bring the authority, the voice of authority to these young boys. And so, like, when you all bring the voice of authority, then I'm here to nurture and hug them along after you gave them the whipping.
The easy job.
Yeah. I have the easy job. So as it relates to the King's Code Summit and what we were trying to do, we pulled together a team of individuals, business individuals, as well as educators in the U.S. to connect with elders here in Barbados. And the King's Code Summit was our way of coming to the nation of Barbados If I could backtrack for a second, the thing that was key to my heart with these young boys, I'll use the term that they use, youth at risk, if I could say that, pretty much to just pour into them in a way that I felt was unique, to bring a team from the U.S. that represented, as I said, business people as well as educators who had the heart and passion that I had. The statistics, a part of my research and my dissertation was on the youth in the nation of Barbados and youth in the U.S. Gen Z is what we call them, you know, the Generation Z. And the thing that really pulls on my heart is the statistics as it relates to Barbados this last year with the high gun violence rate and how staggering it is, 158%. That's a high number, so that pulled on me. So I said, if we can get together and pull elders from Barbados and elders from the U.S. that have a heart to pour into these young men, ages 16 to 23, that's really how the King's Code Summit came about. And so we came together as a team, myself and a team of male mentors, along with partnerships here in Barbados, to celebrate the young men in the King's Code Summit here in Barbados. So that's sort of how we worked it, and that's what we're doing. That's how we're building this initiative. This is a new program. I expect it to grow. I'm grounded and rooted in Barbados. It's interesting, we call the young boys the Great Eight.
Yes.
Right? Because I just love the number 8. 8 represents great new beginnings. And so it was, and this weekend was just, last weekend, the 26th, was just about getting together to celebrate them, to allow them to meet the mentors in person and just have a good time and to say, we're here to be your village. We're here to walk with you. We are not going to leave you. And one of the individuals that came, he actually, if I could, he did this book, Dr. Gregory Tate, on the role of male presence in the church and family.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's really what we want to do. Just come along in the King's Code Summit. We call ourselves DAPA, Destiny and Purpose Academy, DAPA. Come alongside and walk with these young boys and offer, and we gave them micro grants to help them establish businesses, and we're going to walk along with them. Saturday, I said to them, you guys just don't have me for 8 weeks. You have me now for eternity. I'm a boy mom, and my sons are grown now, and so I'm now your new mama. Yeah.
So, 8 weeks.
Yes.
And you've been doing this now for the last 8 weeks or thereabouts?
They get started.
They're only now starting?
Yes. So this was our way of saying, welcome to the program.
Okay, got you.
Congratulations. We're now going to walk with you for 8 weeks through mentorships as a particular curriculum we have, and the curriculum expands. I'm sorry.
That's what I'm trying to get to,
yes.
The curriculum.
The curriculum.
What is in that curriculum?
We're going to teach life skills and soft skills and basically sort of a rites to passage. So all these ideas that, well, not ideas, the specific things that I just mentioned, we're going to break down legacy and calling. We're going to break down wisdom and leadership, what that looks like on their level. And it's going to be an interactive curriculum. And the interesting thing is we're going to do this via Zoom. So these are young boys, but we're sort of putting the onus on them to meet us where we are and to get them engaged, because recognizing that they do have sponsors here that are working with them or advisors that are working with them, but we're on the other end in America working this. So we're going to allow them to interact with us on all these different topics, and we're just going to let it do what it does.
Yes.
Because, like I said, it's an inaugural program, it's a pilot program, but what has blessed me so much is the interaction from those young boys. They're engaged, they are ready. We had them do this on Saturday. We had them articulate that they are kings, you know, and so the mentor here, Dr. Greg, said to them, say it from your chest, right? I said to them, I'm a female with cute pumps. I need you to say it from your toe up to your chest, kind of thing. So, so that's how it's going to go. It's going to be a curriculum weekly, 60 to 90 minutes where they come on Zoom and the mentors will mentor them. I'll come on in the beginning and do my little mama piece and then get on in the end and close out, and then the mentors will mentor them. And I say 8 weeks or so, but the program can extend to 15 weeks. But we will be with them and still follow them for the next 2 or 3 years.
Right.
That's the...
There's more to talk about on this.
Yes.
And we'll take a break. We'll come right back and talk more with Dr. Angela White.
Annette White.
I apologize.
Okay.
On the King's Code in a moment.
Yes.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
The Ministry of Youth, Sports, and Community Empowerment's Bridges television series is back. Join us every Wednesday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Saturdays at 5:30 p.m. on CBC TV 8. Don't you miss it.
God will not give you a job. God will not call you to do something and then not give you the capacity to have it, to make it happen. He will give you the resources, he'll give you the people. Not only will he equip you with ideas, but he will equip you with favor, as he did Nehemiah.
Turn on the latest episode of Infinite Possibilities, only on CBC TV 8, every Sunday at 1:30 p.m., sponsored by Covenant Life Teaching Center.
Welcome to Nature's Discount, the ultimate health food store. At Nature's Discount, we have thousands of quality products at great prices.
Hi guys, Dottie here with Nature's Discount, and today we are talking about Solar Ray microbiome probiotics and why you should be taking them.
And we have well over 3,000 amazing products to help you get healthy.
For your health tips, tune in to CBC TV 8 every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for Nature's Discount, sponsored by Get Healthy Incorporated.
Week after week, Scald presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're talking with Dr. Annette White, formerly Dr. Annette Taylor of Barbados. That Barbadian name, you got it? Taylor, the last name in there, indeed. And so we're talking to her because she's the founder of DAPA, which is Destiny and Purpose Academy, effecting change, the King's Code, implanting the King's Code in our young men to make them far more responsible, productive men in our community indeed. And so, Dr. Annette, I want to talk to you a little bit about the code. changing the code. We're told that up until 7 years old, that child has been set, and it's difficult to change it thereafter. Do you see your program being able to affect that change in code?
Yes, absolutely. And I say that passionately because even in terms of statistics in the U.S., if you don't catch the young boys, just like you said, 1 to 7, 8 to 11, they're saying that they're locked. That's it, if you don't catch them. So I think that this code, the fact that we're getting back to this concept of a village and pouring into them, and the intentionality of sticking and staying with them. The number one code to me and for me is love.
Yes.
Okay, and you can spell that in so many different ways. I remember my son saying to me, "Mom, I know you love me, but I need affirmation from a male." So the other part of the code is affirmation, whatever that looks like to the mentor that's mentoring them. So love and affirmation are the biggest parts of the code. So you don't, 1 to 7, they may be locked in, but then they go through this puberty stage. And that's the stage where they really need to be affirmed. They really need to understand who they are. You really build identity into them. And once you build that identity, I believe they'll take on this whole notion of now understanding, maybe later on in life, what legacy begins to look like. So yes, the code is important. Love, affirmation to build legacy.
Indeed, and
That's how I see
the
it.
word king in front of that code is deliberate.
It's
because
deliberate.
God, Jehovah, is the king.
Absolutely.
And he's already determined how we ought to be.
Absolutely.
But we need to lock into that code.
You have to lock into it. And I don't believe at any age you can't change that. That's why the code is so important.
And at any age, the king can change you.
The king will change you. Absolutely.
As well. So for those youngsters, I'm imagining that their parents are saying, I would love my youngster, my young boy, to be a part of this program.
Yeah.
How can they do so?
You can go to my website, which is destinyandpurposeacademy.com. And the application is already out there. It's rolling. It's open enrollment. I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought. Open enrollment. You just apply. And we're looking for young men to apply now for the March 2026 cohort. And you apply, put your application in. We'll get back to you and respond to you. And a part of what we're doing in this program is really also saying to the single mothers out there, have your son apply to this program, because just what we're talking about today, our heart is knitted into doing this for all young boys. Barbados or anywhere else, but because Barbados is where we are, that's really what we're pouring into. March of 2026, we're going to come back and do, and we're going to have the guys who were here before with us, because a big part of my heart is you pour into them and you allow them, you let them take leadership. They're kings. So they can pour into this next cohort that's going to come through and actually even be a part of sharing wisdom with them. It doesn't end at age. The Bible speaks a lot about what a lot of young people did. We just have to give them the opportunity to do it.
Indeed so. So the next cohort starts in March next year, but all like now, as we say in Beijing, all like now, you can go and start to register your youngster to be a part of it indeed. And it's destinyandpurposeacademy.com. destinyandpurposeacademy.com. Complete the registration there. They'll vet it. They'll get back to you as to how. But the impact that your son will have, having been met with love, understanding, compassion, and guidance, so that he speaks from the chest and knows exactly whose he is and who he is at the same time, is so very vital, because we want to effect positive change makers through our males in our society. So we begin to arrest some of our problems, and it's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. It's never too late. That's the whole point. It's never too late. The king is coming. The king can make the change. And so the King's Code for males is one of those avenues through which that change is being effected. And it's being effected by Dr. Annette White and her team, indeed.
Yeah.
So to you, I wish you well.
Thank you.
I really hope that I could see the fruit of your labor. I want to see the results unfold. Our society is grateful for everything that you're doing as it relates to this.
Thank you so much.
You are
for
very
having
welcome
me.
indeed. And again, welcome home.
Thank you.
All right. Mornin Barbados is it for today. Folks, you have been fantastic. I'm so happy that you're back. And I'm back to be with you as well. My little crew joins me in saying to all of you, have a fantastic today. If it be the will of the Lord, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you.